The 23rd of May, 2019. The painting of the bench, trash can, and book and trees was taken from the Student Union at Michigan State University after the art fair had finished. This was in May 2019. The horse tracks represented myself, the white horse from Taylor Swift's song, a notion I was defending, that I'm a white horse, that I'm a good guy, after Jeanette wrote her feelings on Instagram while sitting on a bench. The rainbow trash can was the beginning of a theme that started with Jeanette after we met. The rainbow, but before I bought the Dunkelhager. She had posted art for the first time after I had left Oda in March 2018. It wasn't the tiles I gave her, but it was a holographic image of an owl. And it began, and you know, I was beginning to wonder what it meant. There were ideas going around about learning about Jeanette and learning about who she was and what she was interested in. It was the first time she had ever posted art of this holographic image of an owl that was very colorful and a rainbow. I was also learning about Jeanette while there were also random Norwegians who were following me. I don't know who they were exactly, but they were commenting on my posts, and they were challenging my idea to come to Norway and make my tiles there, suggesting that nature artwork is boring and everyone does it. And this was a new phenomenon to have these people being critical of my artwork, nature artwork. You know, because at the time there was this idea that I had to be accepted by Norway, and all these in my work had to be accepted. It wasn't clear how I would be allowed to make my art in Norway, but I knew there was some path to do it. So these people were confusing the situation, and then Jeanette's posting pictures of a new photo that was on her Instagram page in one of those little circles that always stays there, of this rainbow owl. This is in probably April 2018, before I'm going to Oda. Taylor Swift had not fully launched her Lover album, but rainbows were a theme with her first single from the album, Me. I was excited, and others were intrigued and in disbelief from Taylor Swift, because it appeared her new song, Me, was in some way a collaboration with myself. Now we're going back to March. We're skipping ahead, away from Jeanette's owl that she had posted. That was when the theme kind of started ringing in my head about owls, or about owls and rainbows, and that Jeanette was colorful and liked rainbows, and how could I, it was almost like she wasn't going to be interested in me necessarily unless I could, I felt like it was a message to me that she liked rainbows and she liked owls, and my artwork doesn't reflect that at all. So it like challenged me in how I was going to approach the creation of my artwork. If she was sending me a message about what kind of art she liked. But it wasn't like, what am I supposed to do? Give up because I can't do rainbows with my tile work? I didn't know what it meant exactly. The tile I made in March, but when I left Norway after I met her, there was this feeling that something was happening. So, no one knew that I was going to buy a building, but I did. So skip ahead to the MSU Art Fair in May 2019. Taylor Swift had just released Me, and the tile I made in March 2018, when I met Jeanette, Begin Again, which the Begin Again is a song that Taylor Swift wrote, it's part of one of her albums, and in the music video, it's filmed in France. So this new music video she had just released, Me, is in France. In addition, this new song, Me, has a theme with rainbows in the song, and the small town that was computer animated in the video it really felt like it was, incorporating Oda, incorporating my story as well, as whatever message she's sending, because she just finished her Reputation tour. So it was keeping the spirit alive that something was happening, because there were other things that were tying me to Taylor Swift, and then all of a sudden she releases the first single from her new album, and it still seems like there's a connection that she's keeping with me and her. Keeping the spirit alive, something was happening between my endeavor and Taylor Swift still. Since in 2019, rainbows and pride were not fully popularized. Pride was obviously very popular, but a rainbow, rainbows, we're coming to terms with, seeing a rainbow and seeing a pride flag. It still wasn't as mainstream as it is now, 4 years later. And since in Oda, Jeanette made her colorful personality known with her rainbow owl art that she left posted on her Instagram for all to see, I did not yet associate Jeanette's rainbow with pride, nor did I with Taylor Swift's new music video. But I did feel the close connection with pride. I wasn't afraid of pride, but I'm not doing a lot of rainbows in my artwork yet. I didn't know how to approach that, and I wasn't doing tiles at this time. I just thought Jeanette was a colorful girl. I didn't think her owl holographic rainbow art had anything to do with pride. I thought it was showing that she was colorful. But if anyone who at the time, even now, anyone who shows that they like rainbows, even if it's a real rainbow or a pride rainbow, it still kind of shows your openness. You're not afraid of pride if you're someone who likes rainbows. That's what the pride flag, kind of establishes. Rainbows are beautiful, and it doesn't have to mean the pride flag. But if you like rainbows and you show it confidently on your Facebook page, for instance, you're also kind of telling everyone that I'm not afraid of pride as well. And that's kind of how I took Jeanette and her rainbow owl. I just thought Jeanette was a colorful girl in her taste of art, and I had not been able to make any art while I was in Oda. I wasn't able to get any of the tiles I made finished because I had to leave and had to work in my building before the electric was connected. So no one really knew what I could make. Jeanette's post while sitting on a bench made many believe that she was damaged by me. This is the post that she had made. She had made in March 2019, just before the MSU Art Fair. But I knew better. However, I had to go along with the fake drama that set the stage for her television appearance in Norway, telling the story about the American, myself. However, we slowly played into the drama that she directed. Since so many people were directing me and helping me in Norway, we took her story seriously, but not really, because I had no voice. I couldn't tell my story. She's on national news in Norway. Nothing. And I was busy following Taylor Swift. I took her story. It was like the same kind of stuff she had been doing when I met her, and she told me to change my profile picture. And 2 days later, she said she was proud of me. When I read her story, I immediately recognized that how can I be a stalker because I'm wearing a hat with a fishing brand that she represents. That's what you're supposed to do. Is wear the emblem that your people that you like. If you like a sports figure who wears Nikes, you wear Nikes. Well, if I like Jeanette and she's wearing Abu Garcia hats, then I'm wearing an Abu Garcia hat. Doesn't mean I'm stalking her. And that's the kind of joke she was playing. But everyone that doesn't know, everyone who doesn't, it was a story that she wrote, that if you wanted to believe what she was saying, you could believe it. But if you knew what I was doing when I was there, like the people in Oda knew, then you wouldn't believe it. But to try to talk about that when I'm following Taylor Swift would have just been a distraction. And it was like whatever. At that point, I bought a building in Oda, spent all of my money, tons of money. I wasn't going to start running down that rabbit hole. So I just continued following Taylor Swift. Jeanette was interacting. Jeanette was interacting with me after I returned to the U.S. In March 2018. But after I returned to the U.S. in November 2018, Jeanette had continued interacting with me. But something triggered her Instagram post with the bench. I figured it was probably with all my intense interest on Taylor Swift, she felt like she needed to do it or something. I didn't know for sure, but at this point, it was safe to play with the bench idea when I made this painting. Flirting with Jeanette. The book with the red X represented a book of photos, a coffee table book I bought in Oda in March 2018 that I made a red X on to challenge the idea from Taylor Swift's song Getaway Car. I made the red X in April 2018 because I thought it was ridiculous that people were associating that song with Jeanette and I and the professional fisherman. Jeanette went with a professional fisherman on a trip when I was there to meet her, and it just became something that was somewhat of a confusing distraction, and it made people, it just became a distraction for many people on social media. People wondering why I'm not fishing with Jeanette when she's going with the professional. You can think about why she did that. She's showing her seriousness to fishing when I'm coming to meet her, and she gets an opportunity to go with a professional fisherman. But it still became this joke about everything I was doing to meet her and what she was doing to reciprocate that. And then along with Taylor Swift's music and Reputation songs that I was playing, I felt like I couldn't even play songs by Taylor Swift because they would associate it with Jeanette and I. So I bought this picture book of all these beautiful photos from the national park in around Oda. When I was in Oda, I bought this book, and when I returned back to the United States, at one point I made a red X on it because I was actually making the red X on the book because it was my red herring. Because I hid tiles in Norway when I was there in March 2018 in different spots in the mountains, and the red X on the book marked the spot where I hid them. So I made the red X to hint that I had treasure or tiles hidden in Norway. Possibly gold coins though, because I had been posting gold coins too. But I was like, so everyone's gonna believe Taylor Swift's song, or are you gonna believe me? So I'm gonna write it. So I made so I was trying to be exciting to put a red X on the book because people thought it was meant that we fell apart. And so I put the book on the bench in this painting because everyone thought we fell apart because Jeanette told this story while she was sitting on the bench. So I put the red X on the book, and then I put the book on the bench because Jeanette felt like we fell apart. So the bench represented that, and the book that I made the red X on, people were like, that was my way of saying, oh, I guess we fell apart. But in my mind, the book with the red X was actually a treasure. In the painting, I put the book in the painting because people thought it meant that we fell apart. And given her story that she told sitting on the bench, everything felt like we had fallen apart. So I guess we had, even though I knew we didn't. And now I'm with Taylor Swift, and the pine trees in the painting are actually there at the student union at MSU. I would leave MSU shortly after and head to buy my Jeep out east. So at that point, I'm not saying goodbye to Jeanette, but it's like, all right, I'm officially going to follow and learn about Taylor Swift. I knew that this journey out east was going to take me to Wyomissing, and I was excited to go explore Taylor Swift's hometown. And it didn't matter what I did, no one would believe it anyways. I felt like the music with Taylor Swift's represented Jeanette and I, and I put the red X on the book in the painting and headed out to learn about Taylor Swift.